welcome back. This is Groovescom, and I'm back with another episode of Factorio with the BioIndustries mod. It's been a few days since we had an upload. I've been really busy with school, so today I'm taking the opportunity to kind of get caught up and where we're at. One of the things that we did in the last episode was create this awesome facility to make our poison dart arrows, or for the turrets, for the wooden turrets that we're going to use for our outpost base. But one of the problems I've noticed is that we weren't getting enough coal. We're not getting enough coal because we're not getting enough raw fuel. And looking at this setup, we're using the ash recipe to create, to craft wood and pulp, and it's just not keeping up. We've got almost all of the BioIndustries producing right now our saplings, and all the BioFarms are running, but it's just not enough to keep everything fully supplied the way that we're using the materials. This setup should condense our fuel into pellet coke, and we are almost running out. So this means we are most likely going to run out of power soon. And I think what we're going to do then to kind of combat this is, first of all, look at how can we produce more raw wood and wood pulp, and then how can we produce more more useful byproducts like coal and then pellet coke. So first thing I think we can do is we can run our, and I have to be careful because biters are creeping up in our area. We have seen some attacks at our power station already, and that's probably because this biter nest is within our pollution area. I have stopped researching science, so hopefully we'll kind of have minimal draw on our not only the power but our resources. But in the meantime, I think we can just take out that biter nest first, because they are definitely going to be coming back for another attack. So let's go ahead and get that tank. Whoops, and of course I run into it. And we'll have to make sure that we're going to need to grab some of this ammunition since we're here. Just go ahead and put it right into the tank. And of course you have to be careful with the tank, because when you run into stuff with the tank, you're not going to be damaging the tank at all, but you'll be damaging, well, I mean, maybe a little bit, but you'll be destroying objects. So I can run into my power poles, lights, things like that, and just destroy them instantly. So let's just be careful where we're driving here. I probably shouldn't have gone through this and just stuck to the path, but I didn't. Yep, and there goes a power pole, as predicted. And it, I guess, you know, it did do a little damage to me, but hardly any. You saw how fast the robots repaired the damage from that. So, okay, we're getting a little bit of fuel. You can see we're running at full capacity with the ones that still have fuel. Let's just take these guys out. They're getting way too close. I was hoping we'd have our remote. Oh, wow, there's a lot of worms in this one. This is not good. Oh, before I forget, I do want to disable my robots by taking this off, because if I get attacked, they're going to start jumping out, and then they're going to get attacked as well, and robots will come out to repair the robots who are repairing, and it just becomes a huge problem. So easier to just kind of take a little damage at first. I mean, you know, you can see my health bar is going down. I should be attacking the worms first. Pay attention here. And my health is not even halfway down yet. So there we go. We took care of that spawner base, and I don't see any within our area. I don't see any within the pollution cloud, although these guys are really close. Alright, so I guess with that taken care of, I can grab my car, and then we'll go back to that bio nursery setup and see if we can get more production of wood pulp and wood. And I have some ideas on that. Hopefully it works out the way I'm planning, and we'll get started with that. Now we don't have to worry about the biters. Okay, so I got my car. I'm looking at my setup, and I think what we're going to have to do first of all is look at changing our recipe altogether. So let's just go ahead and use the recipe that's going to produce the most, pretty much like the most bang for our buck. And oh boy, planning this is going to be a little ugly because I need to get this fertilizer up here. Well, one thing I don't like is that I need to rearrange these belts a little bit. Can I? Nope, because I have a power pole here to move that guy over. Let's do that so we've actually got, well, you know what? I don't like that either because it's not quite even. And look at that, we have run out of power. No surprise there, really, shouldn't be. So we need to get another belt up here. And I think I'd like to go right here. Basically, we're not going to need to use the ash recipe anymore, so I can just cut this off for now. In fact, I'll just cut it right here. And then what I'm looking at doing is bringing this in somewhere like here. And then of course we'll have to have another belt doing some weird stuff like this. One good thing is that the red belts have a longer reach. See, they can go more than 4 spaces, so we can do something like that. That'll give us more room to work with these belts. And as bad as this is going to be, this is going to look really ugly because this doesn't fit, so I have to use red belts. You know, I really hate it, so I'm going to go up here. And I can always jump the belt. Like this. There we go. Now I can change the recipes. And I don't like to do it in the middle. You actually lose products when you do that, but what can you do? So there's that, and then these recipes are also going to have to change, and we're going to produce saplings. I actually don't know if this ratio is the same. Whoops. Oh boy, this is not. I'm fat fingering everything today. There we go. So here I'm just grabbing all the ash off of this belt because we're no longer using that. The only problem is I still see some inserters with ash mid grab, sort of. Okay, and we have to get this power going. This is gonna be a problem. Yeah, we don't have enough power to give ourselves power, basically. And I can actually use some of this ash since I'm not going to be needing it. Let's just go ahead and dump some of that in there. And why not just throw some coal too? Because we have it. And look how fast that ash gets consumed. It's only like a stopgap solution. Even wood isn't going to last us very long, but we'll throw it in anyway. So the cool thing about these bio boilers is that they do have the 2 slots, so once that ash runs out, it'll start consuming that wood. Now we've got pellet coke coming in, that's great. Looks like some of our new saplings are being produced. Let's get the rest of this ash off this belt. So there's that, and then we're also going to have to do the same thing for ash here. Again, not a problem. And same thing, we want it on this side of the belt. Nope, that's not right either. Is it? Yes, that is right, because the output's on the other side. Okay. So there, now we've got fertilizer going everywhere we need it to go. And I've set this thing up a couple times. I'm going to try it again. And for sure what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to turn this water around. We're going to change our outputs. Now, of course, when I want to do all this stuff, now we're like backed up on raw ingredients. Remember, these things, I believe they can kind of power themselves for a little while. So they were producing the whole time we didn't have fuel, and now we probably have a surplus of wood pulp and wood. But that's just how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and change this recipe, and you can see we're producing way more products in a lot less time. And I'm going to turn this around, so then what I'm going to do is bring my water up to this side, and this is all going to have to change, but we live for this, right? Let's see, this can go here instead. I'm going to try to make this look somewhat decent. And I always forget, sometimes this is nice for really repetitive tasks. Whoops. Is that I have robots, so why not use them for tasks like this? I'll just do that. Oh. I need to remove all these. Just go my minions. And we need to change every recipe. And as I change this, the inputs are changing, so they're no longer, I mean, I think I picked up seedlings too. Yeah, for some reason it gave me the seedlings, but also all the ash, which is fine. I'll just have to empty my inventory. Same thing down here. We need to change these recipes. And I think we can actually do this to where, I think we can get it to where we're using 4 belts instead of just 2, because 2, certainly yellow belts would never keep up. 2 red belts will not even catch up with this setup. Oh, and this reminds me, I need to go back down and make sure that I don't have any more ash. If they get stuck, like this one here, it won't work anymore. I can't tell, it looks like that one too. Yep. This one too. This one. It's really hard to see the ash that's in there, but you can just see it there. There we go. Now they'll start. Oh, we are out of fertilizer. Didn't expect that. Well, here comes some more. Remember, we need to get, what does it need? It needs that ash, which we have plenty of that. Looks like what's slowing it down. What are we limited by here? I know it's not nitrogen. Sulfur. Well, it looks like it's just the fertilizer, I guess. I thought we had our ratios right, but now I'm not so sure because this is not producing and neither is this one. Okay, well, we can't worry about that because right now we're not producing any raw ingredients that we need. So let's get on this. use that fancy upgrade planner to give us our red belts. And that long reach is sweet too. I really like that. Let's get these turned around and use our, is this it? Yeah. Get these guys in here. And these aren't turned around yet, but I can see how it has to line up. And as long as the robots are within range, they'll go ahead and do that for me. Pretty cool. Okay, and regular inserters would be fine here. I should have included this in the blueprint. We're just trying to get this done fast. And I'm sorry if I'm not extremely fast at this. Okay, now how are we going to get this stuff out? There's 2 outputs every time this thing runs. What I did is I crafted some fast inserters. Okay, and I remember I need to have the maximum distance here. It should be like that. Let's get 1 inserter for each product. And I'm sure this one has some ready to go. Yep, it sure does. Let's make this one wood pulp. Let's see how. Looks like wood goes on the bottom. This is all going to have to change as well. Kind of frustrating. We'll have to make sure, absolutely sure that we get that wood down there pretty soon. And the cool thing is we can get this to kind of give us a little more room. But we've got a lot of belts that need to turn here. We're going to have 4 of them this time. And I think the way I did it before was I actually had pulp on the bottom. So we'll just switch this. And this is going to be wood. So you can actually output directly onto a splitter and it'll use the actually sort correctly. Okay. If wood is going to be on top, that's going to cause a small problem here. Same thing. Okay, and this actually isn't right. We need to go just a little bit over. This is going to be our pulp. And we're already out of power. Looks like I have a ton of ash I can throw in there to get us booted up again. I really need to figure out this, these belts, how that's going to work quickly because we're running out of time. And we're definitely running out of fuel. And of course this won't last very long, but we have a little bit of stuff in there. I could throw these seedlings in there as well. They do have a 1 megajoule of energy. Seeds have 500 kilojoules. That's nothing. Okay, wood's on top here. And this one is going to be not wood. This one would be wood. And actually this would have to come up here because this one is also going to be wood at that point. So let's have a splitter here for prioritizing wood to get out of here. I think we could come down like this. And it certainly doesn't have to be a fast belt, but that's how we set it up. And let's see, one of these, this shouldn't have wood on it, but it does from earlier. Let's make sure we get it all. Okay. And same thing here. We're going to need that's not, that is not an output. Or that was an output, not an input. Gosh. There. Okay, so if this is right, the cool thing is we'll be able to stamp it down. Let's see if we can do this. See if this works. And this is awesome because I don't have to change all the filters and everything every time. It's in the blueprint. The filters for the, okay, this one doesn't need, oops, I do need that. Actually, these aren't necessary yet. The plan was, oh boy, okay. One thing that didn't happen was the sorters. Yeah, that's a huge problem. That's really frustrating. So I also forgot these. They couldn't place on top of the belt because you can't place blueprints on top of entities that you've created. Oh, I actually need these, so, well, no, I don't. Okay, let's try that blueprint again. Very frustrating sometimes. Okay, so after 5 of these, we can do this. Okay, look at this. Now we've got some production. Wow, look at that. This is looking so much better already. We still have a lot of room for wood, but something's wrong, and I think I found it. Whoops, I think these splitters were already where they needed to be. Let's do that, because those were going nowhere. For whatever reason, this is not outputting because, okay, it's because pulp is backed up. So we need to get rid of this pulp. And I knew this would be a problem because if wood pulp backs up, then wood won't be produced anymore. So we'll just have to keep an eye. Okay, looks like we can change this. That's going to increase our throughput. We have to be careful though because we do need pulp on this line for, and we should prioritize it. That would be for ash, and we need to make sure we have ash because that's used for production of fertilizer. So we're getting a little bit of coal that way. Remember, we're still prioritizing power. I just switched that. we're not getting a whole lot of coal down there, but that's coal's only used for plastic and our military right now. Okay, we've got everything starting to fill up again. Oh, look at that. This isn't even connected. Whoops. That's better. Okay, now things are flowing. This looks so much better already. And you can see our charcoal belt here is almost full. Everybody's getting wood pulp now. Once this starts to back up, we'll know if we can actually start using more. And I think we eventually will have to expand this to produce more, because we just will have too much. We won't have enough coal, and everything is going to get backed up. And if we stop producing wood, for example, then it'll actually shut this whole operation down, because we need wood for our original recipe, right, to produce the seeds. So we can't have that. It might even be worth it to buffer our wood situation. And here's another problem I just noticed. This was an output for ash, and that needs to keep going. Boy, how do we miss that? That was another thing that could have shut us down. So that's all fixed. Let's update our wood situation. Let's do that, and it just looks better. And even though this is coming off of a red belt, I think we don't need that much wood, so let's just make that a yellow belt. Conserve those because they are expensive. So if I look, I've got room on the outside of this belt here for more charcoal, it looks like. No, I guess it depends. So now our wood pulp is being used up pretty well. Who's not outputting and why? Okay, you are not outputting. Looks like things are starting to get backed up, which is okay because I can see my charcoal is fully being produced, so that means my coal and that ratio should almost be full. And look at that, our pellet coke is finally backing up. On this belt, what does our other belt look like? So it had switched to charcoal. Remember, we prioritized the input for our pellet coke to come in here, but it wasn't producing anymore, so it started to use this coal, which came from our mines over here, like the original coal mines that we made. But this is all looking so much better now, and I don't think we'll ever have to worry about this, except for maybe things backing up and then having to figure out if we can rearrange things. I just want to make sure that everyone's producing in here, and that we didn't miss any water pipes or output filters or anything like that. Yeah, look at that. It's just so much wood pulp that's going on the belt. This guy doesn't have any fertilizer. Okay, so we know fertilizer is going to get stuck because we weren't producing for a little while. If I want to, let's just go ahead and help out. And if you want to see what fertilizer looks like, see this dead area here, let's just update that with some, oops. And it will actually get rid of your stone blocks, so that's one thing there. Okay, we've got everything running again. Let's just make sure we've got fertilizer in all these, and then maybe we can get it to back up. I just wasted a whole bunch of that because I couldn't get to all these other ones. There we go. So now everybody should be running unless their output is full. Looks like everyone is satisfied. Any of the fertilizer that gets on this belt will just back up, which is fine. See, we don't need this filter anymore. We don't need this. That's probably way too much. Saplings. Let's do that. Change this. Okay, there we go. Everything's got water. So our fuel problems should no longer be a problem. I think it's safe to say that since this is backing up, we can disable that priority and just evenly split everything. Remember, we need that coal down here for... Oh, look at that. Somebody finally needs a refill, and oh, I did pick up fertilizer, but it's gone because I already used it all. Don't have any in the car's trunk, so let's see if I have... Got a little bit in here. Definitely not as much as I would like to have. Let's see, where do we need... Oh, that's at the copper ore. And one thing while I'm thinking about it that would be nice is on these bio gardens where they're at mining outposts. It'd be nice to have some kind of condition where they only run when the mines are running. Let's see, was it this one? It was this one. I'm just going to put 100 in for now. Nope, that one's fine. I'll just drop the rest in. There we go. Yeah, it would just be nice to kind of conserve those a little bit, but I mean, you saw how much it uses, just like 1 per every 100 seconds, so it's going to take a while to go through a whole stack of fertilizer in there. There go my robots to kind of fill in that blueprint a little bit, and they'll get back to me. Okay, it's been a long time. That took way longer than I expected, but now we've got 4 lanes. We've got 2 wood lanes and 2 wood pulp. We could probably do 3 and 1, something like that, or like 3 and 2 would maybe be the right ratio, because we're gonna have so much more wood pulp than anything, and we're just not using it fast enough. So yeah, we might have to consider branching off a line or something and making more charcoal from that, and then maybe use it for coal or even straight to pellet coke, just like we've done in the past. So that'll be for the next episode. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.